Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be talking about Stephen King's epic 2004 novel, The Dark Tower 7, The Dark Tower. We'll show you the points to look for when trying to identify first US and first UK trade hardcover editions, as well as provide some thoughts on the work itself. So the first US trade hardcover edition was published by Grant, and the production of book 7, like books 5 and 6, had a big assist from Scribner, Stephen King's normal publisher. So while Grant's name is on the spine, the print run for this was 700,000 copies, and that type of scope and scale was beyond anything that Grant, I believe, could do on their own. So therefore it was a partnership between Grant and Scribner to get this book released, and it is quite a lovely book. Inside the dust jacket, look for a price of $35 for these nice illustrated end papers. And on the copyright page, look for a handy number line that includes the number 1 and the language First Trade Edition. Here's the complete dust jacket artwork. Inside flaps. So underneath the dust jacket, the book is very attractive. It's a good looking book, cloth all around, black printing on the spine, the illustrated end papers on the end, as well as at the beginning. And like the other Dark Tower books, includes numerous full color illustrations tipped in. See if I can find another example. So again, beautiful book. So 700,000 copies makes this very common. It's not rare. It's also not particularly valuable. I could go to my local bookstore most days of the week and find one of these for, I don't know, $10 to $15. So it has depreciated since it was first released, at least in terms of the cover price. But that's not to say that it's not a good-looking, worthwhile addition to your collection, because it definitely is. So in fact, this might be one of the better bargains, the better values in Stephen King collecting. But anyway, there is the first US, and I will turn it over to Noah to show the first UK.
Okay, so today we're going to take a look at the British first trade edition of The Dark Tower 7, which is this book. I really dig the jacket artwork on this one. It's nicer than the US, I think. The book is similar to the US limited edition. As far as the interior goes, it's got the illustrated end papers. The price on the jacket is 25 UK, 25 pounds. And the copyright page will state first edition with no further indication of printing. And the interior is the same, so we have the same full color tip sheets laid in as the US signed limited. So that is, oh, let's show you the boards. So the boards match the previous 3 with a Roman numeral 7 on the front. And that is the UK first trade. Thanks for checking it out.
So I vividly remember the experience of looking forward to the last 3 books, books 5, 6, and 7 of the Dark Tower series. I remember when Stephen King had his terrible accident in 1999, thinking, oh my gosh, he hasn't finished The Dark Tower, and now he may never. And it seems very apparent to me that he was also thinking a lot about that during his recovery. And once he was strong again and healthy, set about the daunting. I mean, I can only imagine how daunting task of doing books 5, 6, and 7 back to back. Massive Leviathan undertaking. So the first book, The Gunslinger, was released in 1982 and was comprised of older pieces. So 1982, and then 87 is book 2, early 90s, book 3, mid to late 90s, book 4. And so there'd been a several year gap between each one. And Stephen King has talked about, following his muse in countless interviews. He's about to release another book right now in September 2023. He's about to release another book featuring Holly Gibney, which a lot of people as a character don't particularly care for. But this is what he's inspired to write. This is what he is motivated to write. And I feel like when he writes what his heart tells him to write, then the work is almost always interesting, entertaining, and successful. And on the few occasions when he has forced it, when he's written not what he wanted to per se, but what he felt he had to, then the work kind of struggles. And I remember the process of reading books 5, 6, and 7 and doing them almost back to back, because I figured if Stephen King can write them back to back, surely I can read them back to back. And by the time I got to book 7, it was all fairly overwhelming and exhausting, almost. So I'm going back through the series now, and I may take a break between 5, 6, and 7, or at least between 4 and 5. I don't know. We'll see. But I remember the experience of reading it as being exhausting, and I feel like this could be completely debatable. I don't have a lot to base this on necessarily, just a feeling. I feel like Stephen King was betraying some of his own exhaustion in the writing process. In book 7, especially toward the end, you kind of get the impression that he knew where he wanted it to end up, and geez Louise, let's just get it there. Let's just get the damn thing over with, and so he can put it behind him and move on. And he has implied or stated in various interviews something like the entire series will be rewritten. I don't know exactly what that means. Does he intend to rewrite them? Because he's 75 years old now. Does he intend for someone else to rewrite them? Would a rewrite of the series be like another layer of the tower? What does that even mean? And I wonder somewhere deep in the back of my mind if that's not like some massive, huge Stephen King related news coming at some point in the future, what he means by that, or if he meant anything at all. Maybe he's just moved on with his life and the books are what they are. But there's a few things that occur, especially toward the end of Dark Tower 7, that I almost felt like were just way too convenient. And the showdown, so I'm sure anyone watching this has already read the book, but the showdown with the Crimson King, I was just like, this is supposed to be some big bad dude, and what the heck just happened? But anyway, very grateful for Stephen King being able to finish the series. And I recall, still have this very warm, strong, positive feelings about the series. And I'm going back through it again. And as of right now, I'm almost done with book 3. And I'm enjoying it on a completely different level, so to speak, than I did the first time around. But anyway, Dark Tower 5, 6, and 7, big to do when it was first released, and rightfully so. The entire series was announced. It was huge news. Like I said, book 7, much like books 5 and 6 in the trade hardcover edition, very, very common, and can be found for very, very good prices, and which is fantastic because they are beautiful books. and definitely a cornerstone in any Stephen King collector's collection. So yeah, I mean, overall, book 7, you have to, I mean, I'm very fond of it because it sees the entire series through to a close. And the ending, I thought I hated at the time, absolutely hated, and have since come like very much to peace with it. I think it's fantastic and brilliant. And book 7, has to rank high on my list because it wraps things up. It sees it through to a close, and going on this epic journey with Stephen King. I mean, just as a reader, it took this guy years, decades to tell the story. So yeah, that's pretty special. Anyway, thank you very much. If you love book 7, if it's the absolute crowning peak of the entire Dark Tower series, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to know your take on it and why you feel that way. But otherwise, thank you very much for your time. Thank you, as always, for the ongoing support of me and of the channel. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your time, and I will talk to you later. Bye.